is the borders. These three borders are legal entry points. And Nigeria, for instance, we must look at some of these factors. One, the auto policy must be rejigged. Two, the port must be visited. When you look at the cars coming to the borders, why are they going to the borders? They are going to the borders because our port is one of the most expensive in the world. For instance, the shipping companies have increased their new charges called government and port tax of 38%, 30,000 naira.
That's a new charge.
A new charge.
Government and port tax.
Port tax. Terminals have increased their own. And we don't have a process of how you can look at what you are doing in terms of the law in the port. Who controls the shipping company in the whole in the country? Nobody controls them. Who controls the terminal? Nobody controls them. So there's increase at will. For instance, you have a container, a 20-footer container, you have to spend almost 80,000 naira for just shipping company. We are not talking about terminal. So when you move these vehicles through the border, you reduce the cost by almost 40%. I think this thing must be addressed. It is not a smuggling den. They are paying their duties. The only problem is that we have not addressed the port issue critically. That's number one. Number two, our auto policy is based on two principles, two components: tax and concessions on equipment and zero duty. That is not how a process has been done. When you look at the South African model, South African model was actually modeled after Australian model on their auto policy. The South Africa have, in 1996, they have the Motor Industry Development Program, which started in 1996 and ended in that 1996 to 2002. There was a review of that program, an extension of the program. In 2002 to 2012, there was another review. In this review, there were packages of incentives and subsidies to be able to boost the auto policy to be able to meet up with the challenges. Our auto policy is hinged on two, just tariff. It is not like you have what they call as the access allowance. You have incentive, they have what they call production incentive allowance. You have access allowance. You have import rebates, credit certificates. All these things are things that you use as a component to cushion the effect to be able to enhance the capacity of the auto policy. We don't have that here.
So how best do you think the government could have done this? If you have to advise.
Yes, what they're supposed to have done. You see, when you have a sector you want to focus on to generate employment and create wealth, you have to give it your best. They are not focusing on the auto policy. They just bring out a policy, an internet policy, and they have you gone around to check if the auto policy is working, if these people are working really? Go around their store and check. And how many of these cars can you lay your hands on? That is number one. Number two, the ports, are they friendly? They have one of the most expensive ports in the world. Our procedures are not backed by law. This has to do with almost all the agencies.
Our port procedures are not backed by law.
They are not backed by law.
This is heavy.
They are not backed by law.
Okay.
I want to be challenged.
Okay. Just hold on a minute. Let's ask the auto dealer.
Yes.
He's mentioned some things here.
Yes.
I want to believe that you've had to bring in your vehicles both land and sea.
Yes.
You've used both avenues.
Yes.
Now, he said in the ports, you pay almost like three groups of taxes. You pay the shipping company, you pay the terminal operators, and then you pay government.
Okay, now let me quickly come here. You see, I employ the services of agents to bring in my cars. A system where I bring in vehicles that are coming to Badagry through the seaport. And I employ the services of a clearing agent to bring them in for me. And I also employ the services of clearing agents in Semeboda to bring the ones that are coming into Cotonou. Then sometimes I find it difficult to believe that the charges they bring from the seaport, you can't equate it. The margin is high. So you discover that what we get from here, duties are paid 100%. All these duties, all these stories we are talking about, like me, I will not have confidence coming here to say I'm an auto